So I want to share with you guys an experience that I had of what I speculate and now believe was one of my past lives. And I'm gonna share with you guys a little nugget that'll make you think, that made me think, made me really turn this speculation into, let's say, a belief. Okay, because it's still in the speculative realm, but I don't know, I just have a feeling this one speculation is spot on. And so, just to tell you guys what it is, let's give you a little bit of background. I was high on one type of LSD, right? And I was on my mattress and closing my eyes, went into very, very deep meditative state. And I saw myself as a warrior. I saw myself as a Muslim warrior. And I had a big body and very powerful, and I had a big giant sword. And I was on horse, just, going by and smashing people with my sword. And then I knew in that moment that I am the warrior Khalid bin al-Walid. Now, if you're into Muslim history, or you maybe grew up as a Muslim and you read a little bit or this, you know who I'm talking about. Khalid bin Walid was a Muslim warrior. He was undefeated in battle. And he became Muslim a little bit later. He fought the Prophet Muhammad for, I think, the first couple of battles. Battle of Badr and Battle of Uhud. And he defeated the Prophet's army, Battle of Uhud, because he was very smart. He was just a smart tactician, smart general, and a fierce warrior. And later on, when he became Muslim, he led the Muslim armies into Syria, into Persia. He was undefeated. He was basically the probably the best Muslim general in history as far as results. I mean, he was undefeated in battle. And the way he died, he was on his deathbed and he said, I've been scratched all over, and one of my biggest regrets is I didn't die in battle. So I sort of, in that moment, again, I'm in deep meditation. I'm under the influence of acid, right? It was so vivid, so real, and I just had this intuition that I was that warrior, that my soul has incarnated as that warrior. Now, this can also just be me channeling that warrior. It doesn't have to be that my soul incarnated into it, right? So I'm speculative by nature. In this flashback, I saw myself with a girl that I dated a while ago for a little bit. And she's also, originally my background is from Syria, right? And this girl was also from Syria. And now this girl, I think at the time that I had this flashback of her, I think I haven't seen her in 3 years or something. I haven't even thought about her in like years. But she just popped into my head as my lover in that life. And I really don't know, because first of all, I wasn't thinking, I didn't go into this trip at all, into this meditation thinking I'm gonna go and do some past life regression. I didn't go into it with anything at all. I just went into it, I'm gonna meditate. I didn't go into it thinking, okay, Saeed, you're gonna reveal one of your past lives now. No, I didn't do that. It happened spontaneously. And this girl that I'm telling you guys about, I haven't even thought about her in like years. In years, okay? And then she just popped into my head as my lover in that life, right? Now, here is the interesting thing. Coming out of it, I was like, yeah, I guess I was that warrior. I mean, I do feel very warrior-like in this life. I feel like I had a lot of warrior-like past lives, and this just happens to be maybe one of them. This is the interesting thing. And I stayed speculative about it. And then a few weeks later, I remembered something. My mom already set her mind, and she's a witness to this, that she's gonna name me Khalid. And that was supposed to be my name. That was supposed to be my birth name. I was supposed to be named Khalid. I was supposed to be named Khalid. And that was it, the change in name to Saeed was a last minute change. I was supposed to be named Khalid. Now, I don't know, man. I don't think that's a coincidence. Because when it hit me 3 weeks later, I remembered that my name was supposed to be Khalid, and it was changed last minute due to a disagreement between my mom and my dad about the name. But I was supposed to be named Khalid. I was supposed to be named Khalid. And that occurred to me independently of the thoughts that I originally had 3 weeks ago about me being an incarnate as Khalid ibn al-Walid, as that Muslim warrior, that Arab warrior. And you know, there's so many things here that are coinciding. First of all, I was supposed to be named Khalid. That, to me, that's a big coincidence, right? That's a big coincidence. Number two, I am from that region. I speak Arabic. I am from Syria. My parents are. And Khalid ibn Walid's favorite place in the world was Syria, right? He was from the Arabian deserts, but you know, when he went and he fought and they conquered Syria and they conquered Persia, his favorite place was Syria. And I think he governed Syria for a little bit too. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, because I have to refresh my history. I used to read a lot into this stuff. And here's another thing, I was very interested in this specific warrior, Khalid ibn Walid. In fact, growing up, he was my favorite of the Arab Muslim warriors. That's another thing. That's another thing. Now you might tell me, okay, because he's your favorite, you saw yourself as him. See, again, I'm speculative. I'm right there with you on the speculations, right? But what if he was my favorite because I was him in that life? Because he, you know, growing up, he was. I watched. There's a TV series called like Khalid ibn Walid, a Syrian TV series, again Syrian, and I was obsessed with it. I even have the soundtrack for it in my cell phone. The main actor's name's what's his name? Bassam Yakour, and I was obsessed with it. Like this was back way before anything. This was back when I was like in high school, right? I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with this warrior specifically out of all, because I grew up in a Muslim environment and I grew up reading about all these Muslim warriors and all of that, right? And the one guy that I really just loved was Khalid ibn Walid. You know, I read so many books about him. I read about all his battles, man. Honestly, I have to refresh my memory, but I read about everything. In first year university, while I was doing chemical engineering, I used to sit in my apartment. Okay, now at that time I had zero spirituality, zero anything, like didn't know nothing. You know, I would sit down in my apartment and read about every single battle, every single one of his battles, right? And I would fucking go look at the tactics and how he thought, and you know, I know a lot about this guy. I really do. Just from memory right now, I know a lot about this guy, because I just been naturally very interested in him. So you might say, because you're naturally interested in him, when you went into your druggy, hippie, bullshitty acid trip, you saw yourself, you were imagining yourself as that warrior. First of all, when I went into it, I hadn't even thought about Khalid ibn Walid as a warrior for a long time. I hadn't read anything about him. I haven't even thought about him. Nothing. It just came to me in that deep meditation. It just came to me in a very clear, intuitive, deep voice. Told, like, I was like, that's me, and I felt it, and I was fighting. So combine that with the fact that I was supposed to be called your boy Khalid before it got changed later on. I don't know, man. I'm very speculative, very, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of coincidences here. The fact that he was my favorite warrior growing up. Now look, I'm no longer a Muslim, right? I don't follow the religion anymore. Just because I was this warrior, you know, Khalid ibn Walid, it's not a good thing. Like, absolutely not a good thing, because, you know, I admire his military genius and his tactics and all, but I mean, you know, at the end of the day, he was a warrior and he killed a lot of people, right? And probably if this is true and my speculation is true, and I was that warrior, Khalid bin Walid, in that life, well, I probably accumulated a lot of bad karma because I killed a lot of people. And I saw that, by the way, in the visions that I had, in the meditation. I saw myself like with a fucking, first of all, I had a big body, like a powerful body. And Khalid bin Walid was supposedly a big, powerful guy. And I was killing people with the sword. So first of all, you know, that's not a good thing. I'm not saying this to be like, oh, badass over here. That's not a good thing, man. That's probably why I'm still here, okay? It's probably why I'm still here, because you accumulate bad karma that way. You kill people, and you accumulate bad karma, right? And anytime you declare yourself fighting for one side, right? Like, I am the Muslim army, so, you know, and you start to kill people in the name of that, I think you're accumulating a lot of bad karma. So, you know, it kind of also makes sense why I'm still around here, why I'm still clearing up karma. You know, why I'm trying to do the work of good now, you know, because maybe I have a lot of past bad karma that I need to clear up. You know, I need to clear up. And maybe that's why I had a, you know, very tough childhood. I was beaten like a punching bag by my dad, first of all. Like, I was basically my dad's punching bag. Nothing against my dad. I love him. I love him to death. And he just did what he did, what his dad did to him, what his dad's dad did to him. That's just a tradition. So I was, you know, basically a punching bag for my dad growing up, and I got beaten up a lot, and I got in so many fights. I was bullied a lot. Maybe, just maybe, you know, I'm considering that was just part of me paying back my dues, because karma is real and it bites you in the ass. And if I was that warrior, then I killed a lot of people, man. That's not cool. That's not cool. I apologize if my speculations are what they are. And if they indeed are, and if my soul did indeed incarnate as that Muslim Arabic warrior, Khalid bin Walid, then I apologize, okay? Because I killed a lot of people. And yeah, okay, clearly I'm still paying for that karma. And hopefully I can release anything that I did in the past life. And this is not far-fetched, because, you know, we were all killers. We were all anything you name off in past lives. I mean, the consciousness of the planet was so low that probably most of us were, you know, murderers and did a lot of fucked up shit in past life. And this is the whole evolution of the soul, is to rise above all of that. See, rise above all of this, you know, rise above the separation, rise above, you know, my religion is better than your religion and my country is better than your country, and become more loving and more accepting and realize the oneness of all. This is the part of the soul's progression. So I'd like to say, as Khalid ibn Walid in the past life, that I think I've been making some progress, okay, because I'm seeing now the oneness. By the way, growing up as a kid, I was like super into like fundamentalism, like Islamic fundamentalism. And I was back in 2003 during the Iraq War. This fly. During the Iraq War in 2003, I was like what? 12 years old? Just a year before I came to Canada, right? I was at that point ready and willing to go and fight in the name of Allah, in the name of Islam, in like in Iraq. I was ready to die at that point, like just for the name, for the religion of Islam, for the name of Allah. So maybe, just maybe, it is this lifetime that I'm freeing myself from all these dogmatic beliefs and us and them mentality. Maybe actually I've been struggling with it in all my past lives, including the one I was Khalid bin Walid. And maybe it is in this lifetime that I'm finally finding that place in me to say, hey, look, we are one, and stop these dogmatic beliefs and all of that. Because like I said, like, I grew up and I was that kind of person. Like, I wanted to go and pick up a gun and go and kill the Americans and kill the others, kill the other side, right? You part of it, you know, you might say, oh, because you're brainwashed and all. Probably, you're right. So anyway, I think I've been making progress since then. And yeah, it just really boggles me, man, that I was supposed to be named Khalid. That I grew up looking up to this warrior. Was my favorite warrior. You know? It's probably because I was looking at myself. And I had something, you know, as kids were very natural. Another thing, I was 2 years old. And there was a Syrian series, TV show, called Jawarih, which was like a war, basically two clans going to war, right? And at 2 years old, I had a wooden sword, and every time that TV show popped up, I used to take my sword up as a 2-year-old, my wooden sword that my mom had, and say Jawarih, Jawarih, which is basically the name of one of the clans. So I had that as a kid, and kids, you know that with Ian Stevenson's past life regressions, he always did it to kids between ages 2 and 5, because they can remember their past lives, they can remember a lot, they're closer to source, closer to spirit. So here I am, 2 years old, with a wooden sword. Every time the show came on, I'd shout the name of the clan, Jawarih, 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 right? So I mean, it's clearly in me. It's clearly in me. Again, that's not supposed to be a good, badass thing. It's supposed to be like, okay, motherfucker, when are you gonna learn? You stop all this bullshit, you know, and see the oneness and the unity of all of things, right? So anyway, at the end of this video, this can all be absolute horse shit, but nevertheless, it's entertaining horse shit. So we're here for entertainment, aren't we? And to evolve our souls and entertain ourselves while we go at it. So it's very possible, very likely, that everything that I just told you is a complete fucking figment of my imaginations and complete bullshit. But let me just tell you, what the fuck is the imagination? I think the imagination is our portal to the past, to the future, and to God. So, and to other parallel dimensions and realities. So there you go. Okay? That's it, guys. God bless you all. I love every single one of you as Saeed, not as Khalid, but as Saeed. That's my birth name for this lifetime, and I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe that's like the sign from God that now you're putting back some of the negative things associated with Khalid. You're taking some of the warrior-like aspects, you know, in this life, clearly, right? I wouldn't like have a warrior-like body without, you know, having this. I have a warrior spirit. I have a warrior spirit. So you're taking some of the good aspects of that, and now you're Saeed. You're Saeed in Arabic means happy. You're here to spread happiness and joy, and that's what I'm trying to do, guys. So hopefully this entertained you. This horse shit rant entertained you. God bless you all. I love every single one of you guys, but don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.